Hello, this is Phil Monroe. This is my final presentation on the criminal investigation. I'll be going through the key points that were highlighted. I'll start off with identifying the various types of investigative technology. Just like all technology, same thing with criminals, they're going to be updating their technology quite often. So law enforcement's going to be doing the same thing to keep up with the crimes of today. Some technology that we have developed over not too long ago, definitely not new, but definitely some new technology, is some DNA sequencing. This is when they take trace evidence that is found at a crime scene and they're going to compare it to a control DNA that they have that they either taken from a suspect or have in their database. Another technology that is new is alternative lighting. So alternative lighting, for example, is changing the lighting so you can see, for example, bruises underneath the skin, or you can change the lighting so you can see a substance on the wall a little better. Another technology that was used is automatic fingerprint identification. So instead of having someone get a fingerprint and by hand go through different files of each fingerprints, we put all those fingerprints into a database where we simply just have to get that person's fingerprint. It takes a few minutes to go through the database, and we'll be able to identify that person in a more efficient time. On to our next point. Explain the importance of police records to investigate process effectively and efficiently. So police records are incredibly important, not just having that on record. It's actually going to help you a lot when it comes to bringing that case to court and having that evidence that actually be supported in the courtroom. So when taking reports, you want to make sure that you're very thorough. You want to start your reports from the time you get the call until the investigation is over. You're going to want to put in details of the suspect, details of the victim, what exactly happened, between the victim and the suspect. You want to get weather conditions. Also, too, you want to make sure that you are writing your notes down as soon as you figure out new information. You don't want to leave that information till later where you could possibly forget it or miss out on some information that would be crucial in your report later on. On to the next point. Identify and explain the necessities for the methods of marking and preserving evidence. So when marking and preserving evidence, again, you want to make sure that you're following your chain of custody. You want to make sure that you're staying organized with collecting your evidence. A lot of times when evidence is contaminated is because it's unorganized in transport and they're actually mixed together. And we all know once evidence is contaminated, it is no longer be able to be used in court. On to the next point, identify and explain investigative techniques using in solving crimes. So the techniques that you use when solving crimes, there's going to be a good handful of techniques that they actually use. Techniques they might use is, again, using DNA, trace DNA, fingerprints. They also do have blood analysis that we could use to get DNA. Along with blood, they could find DNA through body fluid, through semen, and through hair as well, okay? We're going to describe the steps of the preliminary investigation. So the preliminary investigation is the investigation where we're going to be getting witness statements, we'll be collecting our evidence. This is also where we're going to be setting up a perimeter as well, okay? So, let's see here. Identify and explain general criminal laboratory techniques. So, same thing, criminal laboratory techniques when working with criminals. Again, we do have a database where we keep fingerprints, we keep DNA, the records in there. So again, techniques we use is the automatic fingerprinting, can easily identify someone that way. DNA, if we find DNA at a crime scene and we have the DNA of a criminal in our system, it'll be easier to find them that way as well. Describe the importance of evidence to the courtroom procedures following the arrest. So again, evidence in the courtroom is going to be crucial. It's extremely important because if you don't handle your evidence correctly leading up to the courtroom proceedings, then the defense actually has a strong chance of winning that case because your evidence is not credible. It can't be held to a high standard because either it's missing parts or it's unorganized or it is wrong information as well. So it is very important to have your evidence organized and correct going into the court, because not only is the prosecution going to see that evidence, also the defense going to see that evidence. So you want to make sure everything you have is perfect. And discuss the principles of proper interrogation techniques. So when going to interrogation, there's usually going to be two people going into that investigation. One person is going to have the role of asking questions during that interrogation, and the other person is going to be in there just to simply be a witness of what the suspect is saying. And there is different techniques you can use when interrogating a suspect. Again, it's going to be all up to the officer to see what technique will work best for the subject they have in hand. If the suspect is not reacting well to a firm, aggressive interrogation, maybe it might be better if a different person uses a more laid-back, relaxed type of way for their investigation. But again, it's going to be different for each and every suspect. This is my presentation for the end of the year for crime scene investigation techniques. My name is Phil Monroe, and thank you for your time.